Hey everybody, good morning. It's Dave here. Welcome to Holiday for Two. I hope you're having a good week. And today is, when I'm filming this video today, it is the end of February. And it is already going to be hitting temperatures in Arizona and Phoenix of around 90 degrees this week. Can you believe that? Really, 90 degrees. We're going to be getting close to our record temperatures this week at the end of February. Because it's getting warm, it's inspired me to start thinking about my summer travel season. And we have a lot of things planned this summer. Tammy and I have plans to do a lot of things. I'll be sharing some of those plans with you as we go through the next couple weeks, but also planning to get away to someplace cool when it's hot and escape the heat, because we want to get away from the heat, right? That's what people that live in Arizona, we don't want to stay here all summer long. And summers can be brutal. If you're from Arizona, you know what I'm talking about. If you're out of state, well, you've probably heard about our record temperatures. In 2023, Arizona hit record temperatures. It was the hottest summer of the ever, they said. And then the next year, 2024 came and said, "What? Wait, I can beat that." And it did. I have no idea what 2025 is going to do this year for summer temperatures, but I can tell you with almost 100% accuracy that it's going to be hot. I can't tell you if it's going to break records, but I can tell you without any doubt that it's going to be a hot summer, because it just always is. From about May through September, it's hot, and it sometimes can get brutal in July and August. Into June, July, and August can sometimes be brutally hot, and we want to get away to cooler temperatures. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 suggestions of places to go in Arizona that you're going to get away from the heat. Places that I haven't suggested before, places we've been to in the past or been by or been around, but places I haven't talked about. So I'm going to get to those in just a minute. I'm also going to share with you some of the park fee increases in Arizona and let you be aware of that. There's some fee increases you may not have heard about yet for Arizona state parks. So we'll get to that in a little bit as well. So let's jump into it. 5 suggestions places to camp in Arizona in the summertime to escape the heat. And all these places share 3 things in common. Let's get to it. Here we go.
So someday when my ship comes in, I know just what we'll do. We'll pack our bags and quit our jobs and have a holiday for 2. We'll pack our bags and quit our jobs and have a holiday for 2.
So I'm going to give you 5 tips on places to camp in Arizona, and they all share 3 qualities. First quality, one of my favorites, they're free. There's no fee for these. They're all dispersed camping in the parks where you do not have to pay a fee if you're in dispersed camping. But along with dispersed camping comes the fact that you have to bring all of your own gear. So they're free, but there's no services. The second quality they all have in common is that they're all in higher elevations, and that makes them cooler in the summertime. So we want to be up in elevation. And most of these are going to be 7,000 feet elevation or higher. And the third quality is they all have things around them that you can do for fun. Hiking, fishing, exploring, you name it. ATV riding, which a lot of people like to do, take their dirt bikes out or their ATVs or Jeeps and go exploring. So those are things that people like to do, families like to do when they get out, and they're just really great spots. So let's jump into the first spot. Number 1 is Marshall Lake, which is just south of Flagstaff, Arizona. We've been by here many times. I'll show you links on the video for map links so you can see where they are. But Marshall Lake is just south of Flagstaff on Lake Mary Road between Flagstaff and Mormon Lake. And you have to turn off the road to the east and go up a little hill, and then you get onto the top there where Marshall Lake is. Marshall Lake has room for probably 40, 50 campers up there, maybe more, if depending on how everybody kind of squeezes into the trees. It's a great place. People like to go there for van lifers, people in cars camp there, people in motorhomes camp there. There's lots of room. The altitude there is about, I want to say about 7,000 feet. And so it does get a little bit warm maybe in the summertime during the day, but it cools off at night. The only problem I can think of with Marshall Lake is I've heard Sometimes the year it can have trouble with mosquitoes. Like if we get some monsoon rains and stuff, the mosquitoes can get bad if you camp near the lake. The lake sometimes dries up in the summertime because of the high temperatures, which is not unusual in Arizona. A lot of mountain lakes in Arizona dry up in the summer, like Mormon Lake, for example. It's just rare that we've had some of these lakes fill up in the past because we had enough rain. Now, if you're camping at Marshall Lake, there are a couple of campgrounds, as well as all these others that I'm going to share that are free places to camp. There are regular campgrounds in the area that you can reserve, but there are fees for those. A lot of the regular campgrounds you can reserve through the website recreation.gov. Recreation.gov. If you go to recreation.gov and click on one of the parks, campgrounds that are within Arizona Park System, you can reserve them online. There is an $8 reservation fee, and it also helps if you have this. This is the America the Beautiful Camping Pass. Now, if you're retired or if you're a veteran, you can get one of these, and it's good for a lifetime. And some of you can even get them at a reduced cost if you're a veteran. So check into that on the America the Beautiful. This is the senior pass. But there are passes that you can get if you're not a senior, but I do believe you have to renew them every year. So check on that. But with one of these passes, you can reserve a campsite at a campground that's within the Forest Service area, like Coconino National Forest. You can reserve them at half price. And I used this last summer several times, and it really pays off. The more you use it, the more it saves you money. So just keep that in mind. America the Beautiful Pass. Near Marshall Lake is a couple of campgrounds. One of them is Pine Grove. It's not too far from Marshall Lake, so I'll make sure to put some little map links on there. If you can't find a camp spot in Marshall Lake, you can always drive down to Pine Grove. A little tip, all of these national forest dispersed camp areas are first come, first serve. Pack your trash in, pack it out, bring your own gear, that kind of thing. 14-day stay limit in any of these dispersed areas. Now what that means is you can stay in a place for 14 days, then pack your stuff up and move to a new spot. And a lot of people do this. They'll stay someplace for a week or two, then move to a new spot and stay a week or two, and then maybe go into town, get groceries, that kind of thing, rather than just stay there for more than 14 days. Let's go to the next spot, number 2. Number 2 on my list is Forest Road 306 and Forest Road 688. Now these are 2 Forest Road dispersed camp areas that are south of the Grand Canyon and also south of a paid campground called 10X, which I hear a lot of good things about. We had relatives that stayed there. They really loved it. It is a paid campground. Again, you can reserve 10X campsites at half price using your America the Beautiful Pass. And my suggestion for getting into a campground, if you're going to the mountains anytime and you're coming in like on a drop-in, first come, first serve, go during the middle of the week. Go on Monday, Tuesday, and then look for campsites in the dispersed areas because that's the best day to find them. If you wait until Friday, you may not find a really good spot. If you want to get the best spots, go early in the week before the crowds get there from the cities. If you go on Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you have a better chance of getting a good spot. In fact, a lot of people pull out of campsites on Sunday evening and go home, go back to Phoenix or Tucson or wherever they're going to go. And Sunday night, Monday, campsites are usually just like ghost towns. And that's the best time to go in and get a spot, Monday, Tuesday. So a little tip for you there. So Forest Road 306, Forest Road 688, south of the Grand Canyon. Check those out. Let's go to number 3. Number 3 is a spot I've been by several times, but I've never actually been there. It's a beautiful area, Halsey Lake near Alpine, Arizona. Halsey Lake near Alpine, Arizona. And Alpine is a beautiful little town. It's about 7,000 foot. It's kind of between Springerville and the highway that goes into New Mexico. Actually, on the video I should go like this, because if you're going from Springerville, you're going to go into New Mexico through Alpine. And it's just there's a lake there that you can go to and do some fishing at. Of course, Halsey Lake, a small little lake. Check it out. And the fact that it is so far from Phoenix is another bonus, because it shouldn't be as crowded there because of the fact that it is such a drive there. Alpine is probably about a good 3.5, 4 hour drive at least from the Phoenix Mesa Valley area. Okay, so keep that in mind. It is very remote out there. So any of these spots that are like this, that are remote, make sure you're up on your supplies, get your gas, get your water, get your food. Do all that while you're in a bigger town like Show Low. Show Low's a great place to stop, get your fuel, get your groceries, get everything before you head out into eastern Arizona and start looking for camp spots. If you wait until you get to Alpine, you're going to be SOL, as they say, if you don't have supplies by then. So make sure you get your supplies before you start heading out to the eastern Arizona area. There are little stores in Alpine. Springerville has stores as well, so you could go into Springerville. But if you wait too long, you might have to end up making a long trip back to get your groceries. So just do that little tip for you there too. Near Halsey Lake, I wrote down, there is a campground near Halsey Lake called Alpine Divide Campground, and it's $10 a night, which means $5 a night if you have your America the Beautiful pass. Alpine Divide Campground near Alpine is also near Halsey Lake, so check it out too if you want a regular campground with camp spots. Number 4 on my list, Forest Road 118, otherwise known as County Road 1325, and this is just north of Greer, Arizona. Now Greer is a little town between Springerville and on the highway. You come down from Springerville like you're going to go to Big Lake, and then you turn in the road to Greer, and it's kind of off the beaten path. But just across the road from Greer is Forest Road 118, and we have been back there with our Jeep. There are, I would say, probably 20 to 25 campsites. If you get to about a quarter of a mile off the road, the main highway, it's off the 260, and you go back on the Forest Road about a quarter of a mile, you'll start seeing spots where you can pull in and camp. Some spots are really nice and easy to get to. It depends on how much rain they've had. I do remember there were a few spots that had some ruts to go through, but there were people back there with Class A's, people back there with big toy haulers. There were people camping back there with big fifth wheel trailers, even though they had ruts. So some people don't mind going through that to get their trailer back in the trees and find a nice spot. You want to find a spot maybe where you have some shade, but you also want places where you can get your solar out and get some solar power too. So it's one of those things, you know what I mean, if you're used to doing that. But these are really great spots to check into. This is remote because it's quite a ways from anything. You're probably about 30 miles from Springerville at this spot, maybe 25 miles from Springerville. The next one is the top one and the last one, Forest Road 409. And actually it's the road, the 287 highway that runs from 260 all the way down to Big Lake. That whole highway from Highway 260 down to Big Lake is just beautiful, a beautiful drive. And there are lots of forest roads that you can pull off and camp in dispersed areas. But Forest Road 409, I will show it to you on the map where you can find it. If you're looking for a campground, another campground that's close to that is Wynn Campground. Again, that's a campground where you can use your America the Beautiful pass and get it at half price. Wynn Campground is a beautiful campground, has a lot of sites there. They have a trash pickup. I don't know if they have a dump station, but I've heard it's really beautiful there. But do check it out if you're looking for a campground. But so all around Big Lake is a great area because you are about 8,500 feet, close to 9,000 feet when you get to Big Lake. If you're looking for someplace to really get cool, that's the area. Plus you have Big Lake, Crescent Lake, a couple other little smaller lakes around there, around Wynn and Forest Road 409. There's a couple of lakes that you can drive to and do some fishing. Trout fishing really good in the summertime. Temperatures can range from as high as maybe 80 degrees when it's really hot, but boy oh boy, when the clouds come around And I've been there. I've been there a big lake when the clouds come over and it's 82 degrees, and the next thing you know, it's 50 degrees and hailing. And I'm not kidding. I've seen that. So it drops like 50 from 82 degrees to 52 degrees, and it starts hailing because it gets cold. So you just never know. Summer weather can be that way in Arizona's mountains. Those are the 5 suggestions for you to check out for some summer camping in Arizona. Now I'm going to talk about the state fees for state parks in Arizona. Today is February 25th. When I'm filming this, it's February 25th, and it's the first day of the new increase for Arizona park fees. And I'm kind of upset about it. There's part of me that's upset about it, and there's part of me that understands why. But all the state park fees for Arizona have just gone up. So camping fees, as well as year-round pass fees. Pass fees went from $70, $80 a year up to $200 a year. And campground fees went from $35 a night to $50 a night. Yes, $35 to $50. That's with electricity, but part of me understands, like I said, but part of me is upset about it because it's, what it is. What it is. Everything seems to be going up. I see a lot of campgrounds increasing fees, let me explain that. Part of me understands because Arizona state parks are not funded by the state of Arizona. There's no funding. They have to self-fund the Arizona state park system. So all the fees that you pay for year passes and campground fees go back into upgrading and keeping the facilities clean and available for camping. And so all those fees that you pay in the Arizona state parks, and there's a lot of really great places to stay within the Arizona state park system, such as Picacho Peak State Park or Catalina State Park near Tucson, and Alamo Lake State Park, which is an Arizona state park. I mean, I can just go on and on. All these really great places to camp, and they're all going to be more expensive to camp there. Check into that. There might be some ways to get discounts if you're a veteran, or I'm going to definitely check into the retired discounts if there's any. You can't use the pass. This pass is not good in an Arizona state park because it's Arizona State Park. So this is a national system for the America the Beautiful Pass. Arizona State Parks is on a different system. And so, like I said, part of me understands why they need to increase fees because everything's going up, right? Eggs, everything, gas, you name it. And so I understand that, but I also am disappointed because it just means, it means what it means. We're going to have to pay more money to go camping places. And that's why I'm trying to share some free spots with you where you can go camp for free. And so stay tuned. I will definitely look for more free spots or cheap spots where you can go camp and have fun. And it's not going to break the bank for you. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you find this video helpful. Those 5 tips I shared with you. Have a great week. Safe travels wherever you're going. Don't forget to hit the like button on this video if you found the information that I'm sharing useful and helpful for you. And stay tuned. We'll see you on my next videos coming up. I'll tell you more about my summer later and what we're going to be planning. Have a great week, everybody. Be safe out there. Bye.